global conflict that occurred between 1939 and 1945, involving the majority of countries in the world, including major powers such as the Allies, led by the United States, the Soviet Union, the United Kingdom, and China, against the Axis, led by Germany, Italy, and Japan. The causes of World War II were complex, but major factors included unresolved tensions from World War I, the expansionist ambitions of the Axis powers, such as Nazi Germany under Adolf Hitler and Italy under Benito Mussolini, and the failure of the international community to prevent military aggression. The war began on September 1, 1939, when Germany invaded Poland. This resulted in Great Britain and France declaring war on Germany. Although fighting took place on multiple fronts in Europe, the situation changed drastically when Germany invaded the Soviet Union in June 1941, triggering the Eastern Front. In the Asia-Pacific, Japan had been aggressively expanding since the early 1930s, invading China and then launching a surprise attack on the United States base at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, on December 7, 1941. This brought the United States into the war and sparked the Pacific War. World War II involved a series of major battles that determined the course of the conflict. Examples are the Battle of Stalingrad on the Eastern Front, the Battle of Midway in the Pacific, and Operation Overlord in Normandy, France in 1944. Holocaust and war crimes. One of the darkest aspects of World War II was the Holocaust, in which Nazi Germany murdered 6 million Jews and millions of others deemed undesirable, such as Romani, the disabled, and others. In addition, other war crimes also occurred, including civilian massacres and abuse of prisoners of war. World War II ended in 1945 after the Allies achieved victory over the Axis. The war in Europe ended on 8 May 1945, Victory in Europe Day, after Germany surrendered. In the Asia-Pacific, the war continued until August 1945, when Japan surrendered following the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki and the Soviet Union's intervention in Manchuria. World War II caused huge losses in terms of loss of life, physical destruction, and human suffering. It also changed world political and economic dynamics, with the emergence of new power blocs, such as the United States and the Soviet Union, and the creation of the United Nations in an effort to prevent future global conflict. World War II became one of the most important events in human history, with its impact continuing to be felt today in the political, economic, and social fields. After World War I, tensions in Europe remained high due to dissatisfaction with the signed peace treaties, especially in Germany, which suffered from the effects of the Treaty of Versailles. Adolf Hitler's expansionist ambitions and policies of revanchism in Germany, along with the military ambitions of Italy and Japan, created the conditions that led to conflict. Germany began military expansion with the invasion of Poland in 1939, which led Great Britain and France to declare war on Germany. The first battles began with the German invasion of Poland in September 1939, which was followed by the invasions of Denmark and Norway, then Belgium, the Netherlands, and France in 1940. Allied forces, United Kingdom, France, and then the Soviet Union, fought against Germany in various major battles, including the Battle of Britain, the Battle of Stalingrad, and the D-Day offensive in Normandy in 1944. In the Asia-Pacific, Japan had been aggressively expanding since the early 1930s, invading China and then launching a surprise attack on the United States base at Pearl Harbor in December 1941. This brought the United States into the war and sparked the Pacific War, which lasted through battles. Fierce battles in the Pacific Islands, such as the battles of Midway, Okinawa, and Iwo Jima. During World War II, horrific war atrocities occurred, including the Holocaust, in which millions of Jews and other minority groups were murdered in Nazi concentration camps. In addition, there were mass massacres, abuse of prisoners of war, and mass rape in many areas controlled by Germany, Italy, and Japan. The end of World War II was marked by the United States' use of atomic bombs against the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945. This led to Japan's surrender that same month, ending the war in the Pacific. World War II caused huge losses in terms of casualties and infrastructure damage throughout the world. After the war, the world was divided into two large blocks, namely the Western Bloc, led by the United States, and the Eastern Bloc, led by the Soviet Union. The ideological conflict between capitalism and communism sparked the Cold War, which lasted until 1991. In an effort to prevent major conflicts from occurring in the future, the United Nations, UN, was founded in 1945 as a forum for its member countries to discuss and resolve conflicts peacefully. World War II was the deadliest event in human history, with estimates that more than 70 million people died as a direct result of the conflict. Its impacts are still felt today in global politics, economics, and culture.